Hello and welcome to the Chip Advisor podcast. Yes, we're back. I'm Phil. This is the Chip Advisor podcast. Each week we delve into a different food in different ways. So I'm here with Lewis this week. How are you, Lewis?
I'm very well, thank you, Phil.
Good, good. And Mike, how are you?
How now, brown cow? Very well, thank you. Yourself?
I'm okay, although I've got a strange issue with my wrist. You did ask. I've got a strange issue with my wrist where inane tasks seem to hurt. So like pushing the pump bottle down when you're getting hand wash. Stuff like that.
I'm sorry. I perish to think how that came to be.
It's very, very odd. The listeners are shouting. I can hear them.
Harry, where's Harry? Harry!
He's here.
Hello.
How are you, Harry?
I am okay. Just to say,
Yes.
eggs don't smell when they're raw, but they do smell when they're cooked.
Perfectly fine.
Yeah. There's no, you don't need to say any more about it.
Okay.
That's the answer.
The oracle has spoken.
Absolutely.
That is fine. That is fine. It's great to have you here, Harry. So this
Good.
week we're talking about crumpets, which when Lewis suggested it, I thought might be a bit of a damp squib, if I'm honest. But we have had so many questions, so many comments about crumpets on the socials, on the Instagram, on Facebook, on the Twitter at ChipAdvisorPod. So yeah, and we've even got an interview coming up later in the podcast with a wonderful lady called Judith, who quit her job to start a crumpet career.
She's a crumpet connoisseur.
A crumpeteer.
Crumpeteer.
I was going to say Crumpeteer.
No. Let's not annoy Harry at the start of this episode.
I'm sorry, Harry.
Take that
No,
back,
it's
Lewis.
fine. I didn't say it quick enough. It's fine. That's absolutely fine. I don't feel it. I don't feel insulted yet.
They were worried. My children were worried about you last week, Harry. They were worried after the episode we did on
Magnums.
Magnums.
Yeah. It's all right. It was just a little act I put on. I really wasn't offended.
You nailed that.
Yeah. That's my amateur dramatic background for you.
Oh,
I can pull out an emotion at the drop of a hat.
I remember it well, Harry.
Yeah, I know.
Myself and Harry for many years were the comedy double act in the village pantomime.
I can believe that.
Yeah.
We
Alibaba and the
were.
40 Thieves. We were two of the robbers.
I was number 39.
I think I was 40.
Yeah, possibly.
Oh, to be 40.
Oh.
So, Phil, crumpets. Have you done some research?
Well, we actually asked Lewis what food he's passionate about last night, and he said crumpets. So Lewis has done some research, and I want to know why you're so passionate, Lewis. Can you fly the flag?
Yeah, I love crumpets. Let me give you some facts about crumpets, and maybe I'll ask you some questions along the way. So crumpets are small griddled breads, so they've got a bit of an interesting way in which they're made. And does anyone know the difference between the humble crumpet and the English breakfast muffin?
Oh, I've got a good joke.
Let's go there.
And actually, Lewis is right up your street.
I haven't got any joke music.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm nervous.
Why? Yeah. Why are crumpets religious?
Oh, don't know.
Is it because they're very holy?
Yes, it is. Lewis. You know the answer.
Yes.
And that's the answer to your question about the difference between a crumpet and an English muffin, because they're full of holes.
They are. That is one difference.
And Roger Moore invented them.
It's always the answer to every food-based question.
It's a completely different texture. I would say the difference is massive. It's like saying what's the difference between a shoe and a shelf. I don't see them as being related at all.
Well, you're right. Crumpet. you're correct,
Okay.
Phil.
Well done.
Although you might find them both down the breakfast aisle of your local supermarket, crumpets are made from a batter rather than muffins are made from a dough. So, so crumpets are more closely related to your pancake.
Yeah.
And your Yorkshire pudding.
And your Yorkshire pudding, famously eaten for breakfast.
So would you say crumpets? Because I've had this argument at work this morning with Harry, who works here. Different Harry, not Harry.
Good.
He says that crumpets are only a breakfast item, whereas as I think of crumpets, I'm thinking I've got home late from a football match, so Mum will say, "Just have some crumpets for dinner with Marmite."
I'm thinking Sunday tea time. You've had a roast for lunch.
Yeah.
The night's drawing in. Yeah, pop on the heating and let's have a crumpet.
Yeah, I didn't have.
Okay, all right. I mean,
yeah.
It didn't warrant a response, but it was an awkward silence. I didn't know if you were waiting for more. I mean, sorry. Okay, so let's try again. The night's drawing in. Pop on the heating. Let's have a crumpet. Get out a knife. Put some butter on it.
Oh, is it? Oh, are we watching Antiques Roadshow?
I don't know what's. Yes. Antiques Roadshow followed by Heartbeat.
Heartbeat, definitely Heartbeat. I went as soon as you said crumpets in the evening. I thought Sunday evening we're watching Heartbeat.
Yeah, is that enough?
No, because I was watching Antiques Roadshow and then desperately doing all the homework I hadn't done.
Yes.
So there's no Heartbeat for me with Nick Berry.
And recording what's number one on the top 40 on your tape by pressing play and record.
Bruno Brooks.
Bruno Brooks.
Yes. So
okay, good.
I never had a crumpet as a child. This isn't a depressing story. Don't put the
you don't want me to
some sad music.
Hang on.
No, that's fine. I didn't feel I missed out. So my introduction to crumpets was through my wife, who had them for Sunday tea time. Having had their Sunday lunch, but it's a tea time and breakfast time sort of snack, and there aren't many of those about, are there?
No,
that's true. So your go-to topping then, Harry, on a tea time, what was it?
Oh, cheese.
Really?
Cheese.
Maverick.
Grated cheese.
Grated?
Yeah, grated. Oh, sorry, Lewis. Lewis isn't listening. What are you doing, Lewis?
I'm just checking all my crumpet facts.
Oh, right, okay.
The responsibility is weighing heavy.
Oh,
it is.
Multitask, Lewis. Multitask. Honestly.
So your topping is
grated cheese. Yeah, under the grill, like cheese on toast, but cheese on crumpets. Yeah, for tea time. Obviously not for breakfast. Jam for breakfast. Although if you've heated your crumpet,
you make me sick.
Tends to disappear. Well, I don't understand that, because that's you feel that bread is a savoury item, so you can't have sweet stuff on it.
That's right.
Bread pudding?
I mean, you're absolutely insane. No. I mean, you've never had like jam on toast.
No.
Toasted jam. Toasted
Correct.
Nutella.
What? Correct.
I would consider bread to be inert. So it's neither sweet or savoury.
That's our word of the week.
I don't think I mean, unless you've got heavily salted bread, which I don't think you get, it's just plain. So you can. That's the versatility of bread.
Oh, I bet you love it.
Yeah, I was going to say. I was thinking the most surprising thing of Harry's story is that he has thing other than butter on your crumpets.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? I told you I was acting, but I can very quickly turn this into real life. It's just a mild cheddar. I mean, we're not talking Stilton. Let's not go mad.
Yeah, go on. More facts. Would you like more facts about crumpets?
Oh. Yes, please, Vicar.
Yes.
Fantastic. Well, there's a lot of debate around when they were actually first came about. But the theory is that they first came about in communities and households which didn't have bread ovens, so they could cook them just over a flame rather than needing more complicated machinery.
I've just got to stop you there, Lewis, because if I don't say something, I'm going to hold on to this all episode.
Okay.
I love you as a brother. And it's fine what you're doing, but you have gone into full-on sermon voice.
Oh,
maybe you don't realise it, but you are in Reverend Pearson sermon voice for sure.
Okay, shall I go back to?
Just shake it off. Come on. There's a lad under there. There's a lad under there.
North London.
That's it. There we go.
Yeah, down with the kids. Right.
Sorry, Liz, you can talk in whatever voice you want.
Yeah, thanks,
Yeah.
Phil.
Of course you can. Of course you can.
I think it adds a bit of gravitas to have a
Yeah, well,
a reverend with us.
I thought this was quite highbrow, this podcast.
Yeah,
but I'll bring it back down again.
When you said
What made you think that, Lewis? Sorry. What in all the episodes that we've done have made you think that we're a highbrow?
I think it's
podcast?
your presence, Harry.
Ah, well,
Mm,
yeah, okay,
yeah,
right, fair
yeah.
enough.
It does elevate things.
Can't argue
it
with that.
definitely does, yeah. Lewis, when you said that people who didn't have bread ovens,
Yeah,
I mean, surely you just mean a normal oven, right?
yeah.
Okay, cool.
But I think possibly in communities there may have been a bread oven that people could have.
Could there?
Yes.
That's
Yeah,
exciting.
I think
How far back are we going?
we're going back to the 1700s.
Oh yeah, communal
Yeah.
ovens then.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Possibly in Wales as well is the of where they
Ooh.
were founded. But their first appearance for a recipe of crumpets was in the Experienced English Housewives book in 1769.
Oh, careful, Mike. Careful.
Mike loves an experienced English housewife.
In a lovely lady, I'm sure, Elizabeth Raffold produced the first ever crumpet recipe.
He's gone.
Lizzie.
Harry's gone.
Oh, Lizzie.
Oh, picture of Mrs. Beaton. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, Elizabeth did what?
She produced the first written down crumpet recipe that was published.
Good on her.
Right.
Oh dear! I mean, that was met with nearly as much enthusiasm as my, sitting down on Sunday.
Anyone want to know where the bubbles, the holes come from? On a
Oh
crumpet?
yes, please, Vicar.
It's got to be something to do with the yeast, doesn't it?
Absolutely, well done, Phil. That's the end of that fact.
Oh, thank
Well done.
goodness.
That is the major difference between a crumpet and a pancake. It's the addition of yeast to the batter.
Oh, okay. But I would make pancakes quite quickly and quite easily, but I would be terrified to make crumpets because they just look a lot more complicated.
Yeah, I think because you put yeast in them, they take longer to prove. You have to leave them to let the yeast work through. Anyone want to guess some of the most popular countries in which crumpets are eaten?
Kazakhstan.
Not on my list, unfortunately.
Okay.
I'll go Wales.
Yeah, Wales. It's generally in the rankings has been as UK
Okay,
number one.
fine.
Okay. What about Brazil?
No, unfortunately, no, not Brazil.
This does tie in with a listener question, actually, so I will ask it now. There are more
Okay.
listener questions at the end, but Vicky, who's currently in Pisa, has said, have you ever seen crumpets outside of the UK?
Personally, no.
No.
No, nor me. Harry, you look well-travelled.
I'm not sure what you mean by that, but no, I haven't ever. But then I haven't actually been looking for them either. So they may have been there in the Super Soul, but I just wasn't looking.
Where else in that, Lewis? Where are the?
Well, you're looking at
Denmark.
No. You
No?
know, actually, a lot of sort of English-speaking countries, so New Zealand and Australia and South Africa and Canada are on my list.
Canada, but I hear not really America, so that's weird.
No, yeah, America wasn't on the list.
How strange, how strange.
Who do you prefer? Do you prefer Canada or America?
Can two of us say one and two say the other, so not to polarize the situation with our
No, I think we've got to be real about it. And
North American listeners?
I really like Canada, and I think mainly because of the scene from Cool Runnings where it's really cold and they go to the airport. That's the only association I have with Canada. But whenever I think of Canada, I think of Uncle Buck. He wasn't Uncle Buck, was he? But it was a different film. But Uncle Buck wandering through the airport with the Jamaican bobsleigh team with all the snow.
John Candy?
John Candy, and I think I'd quite like to go to Canada.
Yeah, I'd like Canada, but I think I'd like to go to America as well.
If they had Disneyland in Canada, I don't think I'd ever want to go to America.
They might have one, do they?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Shut that down
Anyway.
pretty quickly.
Anyway, sorry.
I mean, it's an odd avenue we've gone down, but yeah.
It is, yeah. Do you have a preference, Harry, though?
Well, America.
Yeah. Got
Yeah.
family in America, haven't you?
Yeah.
That'll do it.
No
Yeah,
family in
No family in Canada.
No.
Okay.
Although my grandma went there once on holiday.
Did
If
she?
that's any help, yeah.
And that hasn't swayed it for you?
No,
No.
no,
Okay.
not really. Not
Hmm.
really. The Mounties are good, aren't they? They've got funny hats.
Yes, they're a lot of fun.
And
Lot
and
of
the
fun.
program called, I want to say, Due South. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Oh,
absolutely.
yes.
But
Yes.
had he come to the UK, the Mountie, or was he in America?
I think
the
he was in
programme.
America, wasn't he?
I think he was in America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Schitt's Creek, and that was filmed in Canada. So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
that does sway me that way actually. Lewis, what else can you tell us about Crumpets before our quiz?
Oh, yeah, should we go there? Well, I was going to ask a question that obviously Crumpets in their traditional shape are round. Has anyone got any views or experiences on non-round Crumpets?
I've seen dinosaurs.
Okay.
I was going to share this with our guests later, but yeah, I've seen dinosaurs, and I'm not sure how I feel about that.
It makes sense to have square crumpets or rectangular crumpets because you get more for your money, don't you? And the toaster is made for that. It's not made for circles. And often getting them out the toaster without burning your hands, or indeed sticking in a metal fork, which could electrocute you. So don't try that.
Please don't do that, children. Or adults.
I use a pull-up technique for doing that. If you pull up the toaster bar, it will jump
it
out
pings
at you.
out.
You then catch it. You flick it up and catch it.
Yeah, I mean,
It's like the game you used to play with beer mats in a pub. Yeah.
Don't pretend you've been to a pub.
Yeah.
I am an absolute lad.
I might have gone full vicar voice, but you feel like you've gone sort of full man of the people,
I'm
hanging out in the
absolute
pub
lad.
every night.
You know it with my pint of bitter. I was going to mention exactly. I was going to say, if you're going to have them in particular shapes, it would be good to have them in the shapes of things that have holes in them or have spots on them, because then it would that could work. So like maybe a giraffe or a leopard or
it's more
butterfly.
spots than holes, isn't it? You don't find many animals with holes in.
No. And I actually have discovered in recent years I have a real phobia of things with lots of little holes in. So I don't know how I cope with crumpets, but I do. It's called pteropophobia.
What other items have got holes in? Like
yeah.
sieve?
Yeah. What?
No, like
You don't like draining pasta?
If you Google, so the mouse that I use at work. Oh, funny story in a minute about a mouse at work. The mouse that I use at work with my keyboard.
I bet it better be funny now.
Yeah,
well, it's quite funny.
You've told us it's funny, so it better be funny.
It was quite fun. It was quite funny. Quite a bit of an anecdote that happened today.
Okay,
but the mouse that I was given, a brand new mouse, a gaming mouse no less, but it had lots of little holes in it, and it freaked me right out. And actually, if you Google fear of things with holes in, rather disturbingly, immediately loads of images come up of things with holes in, and it makes me feel physically sick looking at them.
Was that your funny story? Just so I know how to.
Oh no! So I'll just quickly tell you. So
do tell us quickly. We have got listener questions and a quiz.
Sure, I'll be as quick as I can.
And the rest of Lewis's sermon.
Yeah. Sorry, Reverend. So the vending machine in our office downstairs, the guys came to top it up today. Always a very exciting time of the week. So they came with their little key and they opened it up and they were restocking it all with crisps and drinks and chocolate bars and stuff. Anyway, thought I'd have a little gag. Ran upstairs, got a few things off the desk of a colleague, including his mouse, and asked them to put it in there instead of crisps or sweets. I said, well, you'll still get the money because I'll have to put the money in to pay for it. Anyway, that's done. He got quite upset about it, insisted that I go and get it out. Fine. Didn't have any money. Unfortunately, I went to petty cash and it has already taken £5.60 off me without spitting anything out. So my colleague is unable to work at the moment due to his mouse being in the vending machine.
I mean, it's not a humorous anecdote, but it is very funny.
So yeah, there's an awkward vibe in the office. I won't lie today.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Look, Lewis, have you got any more facts for us?
No, let's go. I think we should go to our quiz.
You want to hit the quiz?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do the quiz. It's a quiz. It's a quiz. It's a quiz. It's a quiz.
Oh.
What was that noise?
Oh, I just, while we had a minute, I just put my phone on because I thought, oh, I'll just see what's going on in the world, my socials. And of course, straight away, it opened up all those horrible, yucky images that made me want to vomit. Absolutely disgusting.
Thanks for that noise mid intro to the quiz.
Sorry.
So, yeah, that's all right.
Sorry if it took anything away from that.
Well, some people
Oh.
tune in just for that, so
Oh.
just be quiet during the outro.
Gross. Yeah, sorry.
So I've looked up the average height of a shop-bought crumpet.
Of course you have.
Yep. So the average height of a shop-bought crumpet, and I've got 7 objects, and I want you 3 to get nearest to the correct amount of crumpets in height.
Okay, Phil. Before we get any further, let's define our terms here because we've had issues here.
I will define the terms as it happens. Don't panic.
Okay.
So, firstly, and I'll go to Harry first. Harry, how many crumpets tall is the average chicken?
Hmm.
The average chicken.
Yep.
A live chicken or chicken in a packet from the supermarket.
I'm going live.
Okay.
Well, surely the average would take into account both.
The average live chicken's height.
Okay.
No, because a live chicken sort of upright on his legs.
Standing up. Standing up. How tall is? Oh my goodness! How tall is a standing up live chicken in crumpets?
On average.
On average.
Yeah.
It's a good question. It's not a good question, really.
It's not.
It's a
It's
daft
not.
question. Chicken in the supermarket, is it lying on its back or its front? That's a good question for you.
Oh, I only very recently realised that what I had always thought was the head end was not the head end.
No, because there's his legs.
So you're stuffing the
Wakey,
head
wakey.
end. You're stuffing the head end or the rear end?
You are not stuffing the head in, my friend.
You know, you're not stuffing the head
No.
in. The
You have
other end.
3 children.
Two of
leg.
them
Two are
vegetarian.
The legs are facing the legs
Anyway.
are facing one way, right?
Yeah, how tall
Yeah.
is a live
I mean, what do you think?
standing up average height chicken in crumpets?
Do you know what? I've absolutely no clue. So I'm
You're
going
not
to say,
meant to, just guess.
I'm going to say 20.
20.
Yeah.
Michael.
I'd like to go 16, please.
Okay. Lewis.
Now, when we're talking about height of a crumpet,
Oh,
are we
no.
talking about?
Oh, here
Are
we
we
go.
talking about the thickness?
Yeah, the thickness. So
Thickness.
just-
Bottom
yeah.
to top.
Okay. Oh, okay, that does. Okay. How about let's guess 24.
The correct height is 33.61 crumpets.
What?
So Lewis gets. I was surprised, but you just,
Goodness me.
hopefully that sort of fact will help you with the next one. How
I
many
don't. That cannot be true.
Oh my
But,
goodness.
no. Carry on with the quiz, and then I will explain
give-
how that can't be true. But anyway,
Harry, you've got chickens, haven't you? You've got pretty much every other animal in the world in your garden.
Phantoms we've got.
Oh, of course you have.
Feels like it's a very Alan Partridge quote to be had of the chickens, which are massive.
Yeah, it does feel very much like that. Okay.
Anyway, carry on. Next round.
Okay, so next round. How many crumpets tall is the Empire State Building?
Oh, goodness.
Oh my good grief.
Oh,
So Lewis first on this one.
oh, brilliant. How many? Oh, I mean, I don't even know where to begin with this. Think about the Empire State Building. How about 10,000 crumpets tall?
Okay, Michael.
8,000 crumpets, please.
No, I think it's a bit bigger than that. I'm going to say 15,000.
Okay, the correct answer is 22,411
Oh.
crumpets tall.
Well done,
So
Harry.
Harry gets the point.
my first thought was 1 million. So I mean, it really.
I didn't know the starting point for this. I was nervous of how many zeros. I should.
Okay,
Yeah.
how many Crumpets tall is the height of a 2006 Ford Focus, not including aerial? And I'll start with Michael.
I'll be honest. I'm now just trying to work out how many chickens there were and then dividing it by 30. I would say. Sorry, timesing it by 30. I would say about 6 chickens, 180.
180 Crumpets tall. Lewis? No, Harry?
No. How many did you say, Mike?
I said 180.
I'm going to say 200.
180.
Yeah. 200. No,
Okay.
can't be right.
Lewis?
Well, if that,
I'm going to go a bit low. I'm going to 150.
The actual answer is a 2006 Ford Focus is actually only 84 Crumpets tall.
Wow.
Yeah. So the next one then, with Barbie the movie out, how many Crumpets tall is Margot Robbie?
Oh.
And here's your fact for the week. How many Crumpets tall is Margot Robbie?
Okay. Before we go there, what Margot Robbie? So you're going to have to help me out here.
She's an actress, mate.
Actress from Neighbours.
Yeah.
Who's now in the Barbie
Okay.
movie.
Right. Is she a tall
No,
lady or a
most
short
famous
lady?
Most famous for being in Neighbours, and now she's got this sort of small Hollywood career. But,
Right.
yeah.
What character did she play in Neighbours?
Oh.
Oh, what was her name?
What was her name?
Oh, this doesn't bode well. It's not a famous one. I'm not going to know.
Oh no, she was in it for a long time. She was very popular.
But she was
Donna,
shorter when she was in
Donna,
Neighbours.
Donna.
She was shorter in Neighbours than she is now.
Was
She
she?
may have grown.
Well, yeah, because she was a teenager in Neighbours. I don't think she'd quite reached her full height.
I'm glad you said height and not potential, because
Well, she's in Hollywood now, so she hadn't, had she?
True.
Unless
So,
unless you, and I know you might, are claiming that Neighbours is the peak of an actor or actress's career.
I
Yeah.
think that's probably why people like Alan Fletcher have stuck around so long.
I was
Yeah,
going to say it's
Probably.
peak
Probably
of his
turned down
career.
Hollywood on many occasions.
yeah,
Don't-
exactly.
I think it's my turn to go first on this.
Well,
I've
it's
not had a go at going first yet.
Okay.
Okay.
And presumably this is the last question.
no.
No,
couple more.
okay. So I'm going to say Margot Robbie is approximately 8 chickens, 240 crumpets.
240.
Yeah, okay. So the height
Ford
of a Ford
Fiesta.
Fiesta is 86.
Yeah.
So I'm
Oh yeah, I should have done how many 4 Fiestas really.
yeah,
Ford Focus.
Ford Focus.
Oh, no.
Ford Focus. Oh, that
goodness.
alters things.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say 95 crumpets.
Okay, Lewis.
I'm going to say a little bit taller than a Ford Focus. 87.
Oh,
Okay, the correct answer, Margot Robbie, is 98.8
Oh.
Crumpets tall.
wow.
So I think Harry got that, didn't he?
I
Or
think
did
he
Lewis?
did.
No,
No, Harry-
Lewis got
oh.
97.
No, I
Yeah.
said 87. It was you.
Oh,
Harry. Yeah,
oh,
you got it.
all right, fair enough.
They're fighting
Okay,
over
so
who can lose
what's the
this.
score at this point? What's the score at this point?
Well, I can tell you I've got none.
I think
I think it's
might have
2-1.
2. Yeah, I think I've
Oh, 2. Well, it could be 2 all. I don't know.
Why don't we say it's
Okay.
2 all and this is the decider, Phil?
Yeah, because
You've had
that'd be a lovely place
chicken,
to finish.
Empire State Building, Margot Robbie, and the Ford Focus. So the final one then, it
Yeah.
won't be Peppa Pig, just for your information, has an official height and she's 64.71 Crumpets tall. But I want to know, what is the height of the moon?
Oh,
And I will-
okay.
Oh,
Right.
hang on.
So
Right.
what distance to the moon
moon?
or the moon itself from top to
The-
bottom?
The moon from top to bottom, the radius vertically, the vertical
Oh.
radius of the moon in
Oh.
Crumpets.
I do.
Well, I'll
Well,
go first because mine's largely irrelevant.
Yep.
And I'll say it's 800,000 crumpets.
Okay. Lewis.
Okay. I think so. The Empire State Building was more than 10,000. How about
What's
Just think-
bigger, the Empire State Building or the moon?
I'm going to go with the moon.
Okay.
I'm going to say 230,000.
Okay, Harry. For the win.
876,342.
Okay, so you've all gone under 1 million crumpets, which seems surprising. But the correct... So, Mike, what was yours?
800,000.
Okay. The actual height / vertical radius of the moon is actually 102,205,882, and none of you went higher than 1 million. So, well, come on now, people.
I've never been, Phil. This is the problem.
Well, give it time.
It's one of those things, actually. I mean, it's a bit like Mike and the pyramids. How big is the moon?
I've just told you, it's 102 million
Yeah,
crumpets tall.
yeah. Okay, fine. So right, okay. Now, so I don't know who won the quiz, but how thick is the average crumpet?
1.7 centimeters.
Okay, all right, fair enough. So so you're all saying a chicken is 60 centimeters tall?
No, I'm not saying a chicken is 60
Because
centimeters
I
tall.
just won't believe that.
The average height of a chicken, according to
Yeah.
Google,
Yeah.
is 22.5 inches.
Why have you switched across?
Because that's what it said on Google, and
22.5.
then I had to do
Yeah,
a
that's-
calculation, and then I had to
That's they're saying an average size of a chicken is 2 foot tall.
I'm just telling you what
Well,
it's
Google is wrong.
maybe you've got some Duff Phantoms.
Phil, I would play the quiz music and hastily exit this segue.
Okay, yeah, that was the quiz. It's a quiz, it's a quiz, it's a quiz, it's a quiz. I'm sure you'd agree that's a great quiz. Even better than the quiz, we have our first ever guest on the podcast now. We are honoured to be here with Judith from Lovely Bit of Crumpet, a business set up purely selling crumpets, which is the most niche business I've heard of so far in my 37 years. So, Judith, tell us about what you do.
Yes. Well, thank you for having me on your podcast. It's an honor to be here. And yeah, if I just tell you a bit about the flavors that I do, maybe that will give everyone a taste for the artisan crumpets that we produce. So we've got 3 kind of on the sweeter side. So we've got a double chocolate, a cinnamon and raisin, and then the original, which obviously can go either way. And then on the savoury, we've got a rustic cheese and a tomato pesto. So 5 flavours in total, but we like to do seasonal and add different ones and see what's popular and what people like, really.
Was that erotic cheese? Did you say there, Judith?
A rustic cheese.
Oh, a rustic cheese. Okay. All right. Well, that's probably best.
Yeah.
That's probably best. Yeah. Okay.
In a sentence, sum yourself up to Judith. Yeah.
So, Judith, I quite often take exception at sweet and savoury being mixed, and I see bread very much as savoury, as I do crumpets.
Okay, yeah.
So talk to me about how well do your sweet crumpets sell? Because they, with all due respect, sound horrendous to me.
Well, to be honest with you, they're actually our 2 most popular flavors.
Are
so,
they?
Yes.
People tend to go on the sweeter side, and I think a couple of people actually balked at the idea of a tomato pesto, but it works so well as like brunch and anything egg related, avocado, all of that. It works perfectly with tomato pesto. But yeah, the sweet ones are definitely the most popular. Someone actually ordered 10 packs of the cinnamon and raisin just to fill up their freezer. So
Goodness me.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so how did the idea come about?
well, I was actually so prior to my my crumpet career, I was actually a lawyer and worked in house at Sainsbury's. So it was actually a conversation on a lunch break that I had with a friend, and I was like, why do people not do more with crumpets? They're amazing.
Mm.
And then I had the idea of why not flavor them? You get all the different kind of flavored bagels and breads and things, and just no one does anything with a crumpet. So I thought, that's a gap in the market. And a couple of years later, I thought, do you know what? You don't often get these ideas, and no one's done anything still. So why not me?
I love that. Absolutely love that.
So you quit your job as a lawyer,
Yes.
and you must
Bold.
get this. You must get this every time you go to a party or something. And
Yeah.
and I love the term crumpet career. That is incredible. But so that's a huge move.
Yeah, I mean, it is quite when you say that to people, they're like, are you kidding? Wait, are you actually being serious? And yeah, it's I've always had a passion for food, and working at Sainsbury's and doing law was kind of a way of doing part of that. But then I just thought, you know what, I'm going to go for it, and I've got an opportunity to do this. It fits around childcare and all that kind of stuff, so a bit more flexible, be an entrepreneur, and see what happens.
That's amazing.
Did you ever think about going on Dragon's Den?
I did, to be honest, I did, and that door's not closed yet, so you may very well see me in due course. But at the moment, we're sort of brand development, seeing what's popular, and just sort of taking it from there, and seeing where the growth opportunity is, and then potentially looking into finance, maybe speaking to supermarkets and getting them back in there.
Well, you've got an in with Sainsbury's, surely.
Well, you would hope that there would be some friendly faces in the
You must
the
have
room.
some. You must have some stuff on them, Judith, having worked there for a bit.
Wow, all confidential, isn't it?
Love that. So, can you give us a little peek behind the curtain as to how you make crumpets?
Sure, yeah. So it's a yeast-based dough, and it's very simple, really. You kind of add flour, water, yeast, sugar, and then whatever flavorings you're using. Leave it to proof for about 45 minutes to an hour, and then you cook it on a flat griddle. So what happens is once the dough is proved, when that dough hits the griddle, the bubbles rise up through the crumpet dough and obviously you put it in a ring, so you get the characteristic circle shape, and it just means that you get those tunnels that come through from the process. And that's about it, really.
And you're sticking with circular, because I know there are a few that have gone off piste.
Yes,
I mean,
yeah.
not to the point where they're putting sweet treats on top, but yeah, they've gone off piste and sort of gone square. I've seen dinosaur crumpets out there.
Yes, yeah. You do get a few different shapes, but to me, I think the traditional circle is the best.
Yeah, I get that. Very nice.
A crumpet.
Have you got any questions, boys?
I've got a technical question about because obviously normally in your crumpets you put them in the toaster
yes,
but with all your different flavors and such, do you still toast them, or do you grill them?
We would definitely recommend toasting. Our chocolate ones, I think they're best under the grill, because they can, the chocolate can ooze out a little bit, and people don't really want a messy toaster. But so I would recommend toasting all of them and then grilling the chocolate ones.
Fantastic.
Feels made for an air fryer.
Here we
Do you
go.
know what? We have done some air fryer recipes, and it works perfectly. You
There
get
you go.
all sorts. Yeah, they're really good.
Love an air fryer.
Mike uses an air fryer for everything.
It's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we've actually we've done crumpet chips, so you air fry them, and this would appeal to your savoury
go on.
senses. But no, we use like a kind of truffle sprinkles and oil, and then we make them. Yeah, they're absolutely delicious, crispy, perfect. But what we would suggest is you cut that crumpet in half before you then put it into strips, and then air fry it. It literally takes like 5 to 10 minutes depending on your air fryer, and absolutely heavenly.
What are you dipping them in?
So I would go for a barbecue sauce, but if I was doing it with the truffle, I would just go for like a mayo, because I think the truffle flavour would overpower anything else.
Wow. I'll tell you what, I've got a busy summer in store, lads.
Good as nachos as well, in a similar vein.
Yeah. Yeah, love it. Where can we get these, Judith? Let's proper plug.
Yeah, no, well, thank you. You can get them online on my website, so it's lovelybitofcrumpet.com. We post we post lots of recipes on our Instagram page. So if you want any ideas for what to do with your crumpets and different toppings, then head on over there. But yeah, at the moment, just online, and then we serve locally in Buckinghamshire, a couple of cafes and shops nearby. So.
Just how sexualized are you
Oh
making?
my goodness.
Crying out loud.
Well, we're doing a play on Lovely Bit of Crumpet. I mean, I'm just wondering, how I haven't checked the advertising out. Are there sort of buxom beauties, suggestively snacking on?
Well, my
crumpets?
husband would have gone down that line, but I said the name is about getting that in people's memory, and you don't forget saying "Lovely Bit of Crumpet," do you? So,
You don't.
and
You don't.
yeah.
Lewis,
love
have
it.
your glasses steamed up there, Lewis? You had to polish them.
Oh, it's like a nervous twitch every time Mike starts to say something. If he starts to speak, I kind of
Well, I'm really pleased that Judith very quickly mentioned her husband, because that just
Oh yeah,
absolutely. I was very aware of that.
I don't know what you mean, boys. Don't know what you mean. Well, this is fantastic. Okay, well, I for one, you've got a customer in me on the cheesy ones for sure.
Amazing.
yeah, you'll
Amazing.
get an influx of orders from Dorset. I've got some. So when Lewis last night, this shows how much planning we do. Last night when we were deciding what we were going to talk about today, Lewis threw out the idea of crumpets, and I thought, you know what, let's give it a go. But it's not going to be very popular, this one. And honestly, we've never had as many listener questions. So maybe whilst you're here, you can answer some of them for us.
Yeah, very happy to.
That'd be.
Hopefully, I've got the answer.
Well, you know what? Even if you don't, because we never really do, you can just bluff it. It's absolutely fine. So a question here from Sean, who says he's aged 38 and a half. My dad calls them pikelets. Why?
Okay, so pikelets are they're a much thinner version of a crumpet. And so I would say if you're looking for a pikelet, they're kind of more like pancake territory, like the kind of drop scones, if that makes sense.
Okay.
And I think they're Scottish, possibly.
Okay. Well.
I got to tell you, I actually prefer a pikelet to a.
Harry, now's not the time or the place, Harry.
Oh, sorry, we're too busy flirting, Mike. But
dear, oh dear.
It's thinner, isn't it? Yeah, I think I prefer that to.
You get more topping on it, don't you?
You get more topping on it, sweet and savoury. I'd put them together. Could you combine a sweet and savoury topping on top of your?
Well, you could do, the classic sort of bacon and eggs and maple syrup, and that works pretty well.
Oh yeah, that'd be delicious. What about halloumi? I was just thinking.
Halloumi works really well. So we've done one before where we've loaded up a crumpet with grilled halloumi in, with honey and sesame seed, and that is amazing. It's a very good summer way, because I think crumpets are often perceived as a bit more of a comfort food in the winter, and actually there's some really good things you can do with them in the summer, and barbecue halloumi or burgers is a great way to use crumpets.
Harry, you have completely changed. Completely changed. You're not the man I thought you were. You were my ally. You were my ally for so many years. Yeah. I'd see pineapple on a pizza, and I'd be straight in touch with you. I'd be sending you pictures of pineapple on pizza or pear in a salad. And now suddenly you're all down with maple syrup on eggs and bacon. What has happened?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Taste buds change, Mike.
Okay, well, fair enough.
I wouldn't have coronation chicken on a crumpet, but
okay.
I could have a bit of maple syrup and bacon. Sounds delicious.
Do you ever get bored of crumpets, Judith? At what point? Yeah, at what point does it become? Does it feel like a busman's holiday?
I don't think I'm allowed to, really. But no, I literally just before I came on this, I actually had a quick lunch, and I made like a tuna cheese toasty with a crumpet, and that was delightful. So.
Wow. So if you ever have a bagel, do you feel like you're cheating on the crumpet?
I do actually, and sometimes I go to really nice restaurants, and I'm like, I really want to post a picture of this, and I'm like, no, it's not got a crumpet on it. I can't do it.
Brilliant. Sorry, Phil. Any more listener questions that you want to fire at you? I know we haven't got Judith for very long.
Yeah. Just on what she just said about the tuna toasty. So did you stack that? Did you have a crumpet either
Yeah, so
side?
a way of doing things that kind of melting in the middle, you just cut them in half and then you load them up and then put the top on and then put it in like a sandwich press or whatever you've got, or even just frying it in a frying pan and flip it over, and then it all just melts into the crumpet and it's heavenly.
So you can do that with your crumpets, because before we came on, I strangely messaged you and asked you how thick your crumpets were, which was, I've never
Now
asked
he's
anyone
flirting.
that. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So you said yours were much thicker than like Warburton's or Supermarket's own crumpets.
Yeah, ours are a bit beefier, so you can actually do that kind of layering up without trying to cut too thinly.
Yeah, not to reveal the width of the crumpets, because the depth of the crumpets, because I get very confused with measurements. There was an episode where that happened, and so our quiz, gents, is going to be based on the height of a crumpet. So
Excellent.
don't reveal how thick yours are, but you've got very thick crumpets, Judith.
We do, yeah, and actually sometimes I struggle to get them in the box, so that you're definitely getting your money's worth when you get these crumpets.
There you go. It's a great plug. It's a great plug. Let's give you one more question, because I
One
know
more question, yeah.
So let's see which is the best one. Best one. All our questions are good. Thank you for sending them in, everyone. Can't lose both our listeners. So your personal favorite crumpet. What's your as a crumpet expert, what's the best topping?
So I would have to say at the moment I'm really enjoying making them into pizzas, so that it's really quick and easy. It's great for the kids if like you want something really quick to do for them. So just literally putting like a tomato or mixing a bit of barbecue sauce or whatever flavorings you like on top of that crumpet, and then just grill it with cheese, and it's just delicious.
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds you could have made my Saturday nights easier, because I have to cook on a Saturday.
There you go.
3 daughters who would go for that, I reckon. So yeah, brilliant.
It's a veggie option as well. You've got 3 veggie girls, haven't you? So
Yeah, well, 2.5. Although after last week's podcast, they started worrying about cows, thanks to you.
Oh no.
So, so honestly, they listened to it last night. I heard them bickering about udders, and I knew it was something to do with something Mike
my
had said.
apologies.
Yeah.
My apologies.
Yeah,
Worth having these conversations though.
it is. Yeah. Well, it is. And
Maybe.
it isn't. It makes my life very hard. Anyway, Judith, please remind us where we can get your crumpets from and where we can find you online.
Yes, so please check out my website. It's lovelybitofcrumpet.com, and if you Google it, I think it's the top hit at the moment, so that helps. And then on Instagram, it's lovely_bit-of-crumpet, and you can find loads of recipe ideas there and different reviews from people who've had the crumpets delivered.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. It's you are first ever guest on the podcast.
Oh, well, I feel very privileged.
Yeah, well, we're honoured to have you. We couldn't let the opportunity slip when we found that there was just a crumpet business, just crumpets. Amazing. So thank you so much.
I've got to say, I'm on the site now, and even I am impressed and like the look of the double chocolate crumpet. So
there you go. So I've won you over.
Yeah, you might have done. We'll see.
Perfect. Well, thanks for having me, and I look forward to hearing more about crumpets when you go live.
Thanks, Judith.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, lovely, Judith. Oh, how big are your crumpets? And I made out to be creepy. Brilliant. That's another episode I can't listen to with Claire, because she'll accuse me of flirting.
Oh, I think we all did, Mike. I think we all did.
Yeah.
Okay, now listener questions. We've had loads sent in, so we'll rattle through them. Nick says, can Marmite be beaten as the #1 topping? And if so, by what?
Yes, anything.
Oh, I love Marmite on a crumpet.
No, I love Marmite on a crumpet as well. I mean, I wouldn't say it's the best, but it's up there. It's got to be.
It's my go-to.
I want Marmite on anything.
Oh, I love Marmite.
Vegemite is
No.
nicer.
No,
It
come
isn't
on.
though,
Phil.
is it? That's not
Stop
true.
trying to be trendy. Oh, you're so exotic. Oh, you're so multicultural. Marmite's better than Vegemite. Yeah.
You're so Antipodean.
I
Yes,
wish I
that.
was. I wish I was. So
They
yes,
do like they do like crumpets in the Antipodes. So.
That's great.
yeah, there we go. Thank you, Lewis.
And
So
Donna from Neighbours was seen to eat several.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Stood next to her Ford Focus. Which she
the-
could barely see over.
She could barely see it for the chicken.
no, she was 3 times taller than a Ford Focus.
Yeah.
In my eyes,
There's giant chickens coming towards her.
they're fine, Harry. That's the average height. You've got duff chickens.
Phil,
You're
Lewis.
thinking of ostriches. That's what you've typed in. How tall is the average ostrich in Crumpets? And that's giving you the correct answer. Flipping it.
Guys,
so
I'm going to have to go and let you tackle these by yourself, unfortunately, lads.
that's fine, Michael. Thank you.
I'm
What,
really
you're gonna-
sorry.
We got to go
Thank-
fish that man's car keys out of the vending machine.
I've got to go and try it. Yeah, I've got some issues I need to resolve here.
Okay, all right. Well, see you later, and thanks.
Cheers, lads.
Thanks for your input. Take care.
No, sounded sarcastic, but you're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye. I've removed
Okay.
it from the stream. So yeah, I think Marmite or Vegemite is the go-to, but these days I go crazy and put a bit of cheese on top with the Marmite. That's
and then melt it.
not always. Not always. That is a funny face you've just pulled, Harry.
That's my natural resting face. Thank you very much.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. No, you've got to melt the cheese, but yeah, no, Marmite is very good.
Other than allowing a knob of butter to slide through it, do they actually have any other purpose? Well, Judith would say so.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
she's building a career out of it. Yeah. Well, it's more solid at the bottom, so it's not going to slide through and out the other end, is it?
No.
It's going to pool in the bottom.
I think they are essentially a vehicle for butter.
Yeah.
Just as much butter as you can really get onto a
Does
crumpet.
disappear though. This
Yeah.
podcast has been going on for so long, I can't remember. But did I tell you my jam story?
Tell us your jam story, Harry.
Yeah, no. Well, it's not really a story, but it's just
Mike
you
told us
make-
a funny story that he preempted earlier, so I
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
wait
yeah,
for your
I mean-
jam story.
I like the pedal back of this jam story, which isn't really a story, but we're
It's not
excited.
really-
It's not really about
story.
jam.
And it's certainly not funny. No, it just you put jam on after your butter and your crumpet, and it sort of disappears, doesn't it? So it doesn't look. So if you're making, because Mike's not here, so it would be irrelevant to him. But you're making jam crumpets for your better halves, and it looks like you've been very stingy with the jam because it's all disappeared down the holes.
That's true.
That's my problem, and then you end up using half a jar of jam just to pile it up, so it makes it look like you've been generous.
I've seen some. If you go on Instagram and type in crumpets, which I bravely did today,
Yeah.
and it was much cleaner than I was expecting. Actually, there are some bewildering images of stacked crumpets, as we were just discussing with Judith. There were some really, really strange crumpet pictures, loads with like huge stacks, like 3 on top of each other with whipped cream in the middle and strawberries and all sorts that I hadn't even considered. I had just thought crumpets would just chuck some Marmite on it and we're done. It's been an eye opener, this crumpet experience today.
It has.
Nick also asked, how many pops/drops of the toaster is acceptable for toasting crumpets?
It's two for me. Always.
It depends how you're cooking them, because I've actually got another story.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, which is where if you're toasting them from frozen, you've got to be very careful because they can be piping hot on the outside and then still very cold in the middle.
They're not like toasting bread, are they?
It's not like toasting bread, no. So I give them a minute in the microwave if you're doing them from the freezer, is my advice, and then stick them in the toaster.
It's a great tip.
They're
Yeah,
very
because-
hard to tell when they're in a toaster. It's very hard to tell when they're toasted.
Yeah, because they're very brown to start with, aren't they? Or
Yeah.
And
speckledy
it's
brown,
really
yeah.
upsetting if you don't quite toast them enough and you end up with that sort of rubbery.
Oh yeah, because you
Yeah.
can't. Because that was going to be my question. You can't eat them raw, as it were. You've got to toast them, right?
Isla asks, do you need to cook crumpets? I've never had a raw crumpet.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
yes, we
don't
do.
think. Yeah, I don't think it'd be nice.
Okay. Joe says, when I was a child, why did my mother use the word crumpet to describe famous men she found attractive? Kerry then replied to that, saying she can't believe that she doesn't think of me as the thinking woman's crumpet.
You, Phil?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
you-
And
the thinking man's
I mean-
crumpet.
thinking
I-
woman's thinking woman's
The
crumpet.
thinking woman's crumpet, right?
Yeah, and I think I'll put that as the tagline on the bottom of my emails now.
Yeah, yeah.
Phil Botto, the thinking woman's crumpet, or thinking if you can pronounce your THs. Jackie
I mean,
says,
you are my go-to thinking woman's crumpet, I've got to say.
"Oh,
But,
thanks, Harry."
Yeah, it's all right. No problem. No problem
Jackie
at all.
says, "Crumpetosity
Mm.
is not gender specific. It was actually quite a modern objectification." So,
Crumpetosity.
crumpetosity.
Yeah, that's good. That Judith could have called her company that rather than the playing on the.
Lovely bit of crumpet.
Yeah, that was it. I couldn't. Sorry, I was grasping for the name.
No,
But Crumpetosity. I
yeah.
think she'd probably be offended if we suggested she call her business that. But we parted on good terms. Let's not.
And we're
It's
all
like-
secretly hoping that we might have some crumpets.
Yeah, so you can deliver some.
Well, I'm going to order some. I'm excited. Anyway, I can tell you that later. The listeners don't need to hear that I'm going to order some crumpets.
No.
Okay, next question. Simon, is an English muffin an American crumpet? Harry,
No.
Okay, there we go.
No,
Fine.
that's your answer.
Fine, simple.
Yeah.
Joe, a different Joe, both female, just so you get a sort of idea of our listenership. Is it okay to eat crumpets with baked beans and melted cheese?
Yes.
I'm very happy with that. It's just it's a replacement for your toast, isn't it? Cheese and beans on toast. Yeah.
I heard, obviously, Judith was saying about the using crumpets as pizza, as a pizza base. And I have seen people cutting them into triangles. Do you cut your crumpets when you eat them?
No, they're far
And-
too small
yeah.
to
And
we need to cut them.
You can get the ginormous ones, can't you? Which are like sort of the size of someone's face. There are like giant crumpets, but
Yeah.
that seems pointless because then you would just need to cut them.
Would you need to cut them still? Do you cut toast?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Do you really?
Yes.
Well,
My
I mean,
chil-
I think I do, but I mean, I think that's a choice rather than a necessity. You don't have to. I mean, I don't think It's
For the
not
sake-
rules.
For the sake of me not having to cut my children's toast when I've just got them out of begging me to cut their toast, can we just all agree that you don't need to cut toast?
You do not need to cut
You-
toast.
You
Thank
do not need to. It's strange if you don't, but you don't need to.
Not strange. Get a grip on life. Come on now. James
do-
asks.
Do you cut a
Go on.
sandwich, Phil?
Well, I've got interesting views on sandwiches because if I go to a shop and we should save this for a sandwich episode, but
Mm.
I'll tell you now. If
Yeah.
I go to a shop and buy some sandwiches, if I've got a pack there and I've got 2 sandwiches, have I got a sandwich or 2 sandwiches?
You've got a sandwich.
You have this is interesting because I think you have both. I think you
Oh.
have 2 sandwiches, but you also have a sandwich.
But would-
Yeah, because
I-
if I then said to you, "Do you want a sandwich?" and gave you one of them, would you say that's not a sandwich? Give me both of them.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure I'd be that rude, but I think I would think it. But if my children, for instance, had a packet of sandwiches and they ate one,
A packet of multiple sandwiches.
well,
Okay,
well,
yeah.
but I would say eat the other half.
Oh, would you?
Yeah.
Okay, I can't remember how we got here, but
No.
I just needed to vent, and
Okay.
you haven't really assisted me that much. But I'm grateful for Harry's suggestion that it's both because
Just cut your children's toast.
Yeah,
Wow.
I think it's
you cut my children's toast.
Okay.
you grate your children's cheese, Lewis.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I blooming well have to. It really irritates me.
Yeah. And now Mike's discovered he's got a phobia against cheese graters. Honestly.
Yeah. He's just trying to
Um,
be a bigger friend than he already is.
Oh,
Yeah, I'll say I don't like graters as well, Lewis. Yeah, we're a team.
Yes.
no.
Yeah, I think. Well, it's just it's just the great British language, isn't it? It's just odd.
It is odd.
So
It is.
yeah.
James asked, "What's the best topping on a crumpet?" For him, it's poached egg with a thin slice of quality cheddar cheese. And I did go back to him and say, "What do you mean by quality cheddar cheese? You know, mild, medium, mature?" And he means extra mature.
Okay.
You ever had an egg on a crumpet?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I'd do that. I'm not sure about cheese and egg. I don't think I'd go with that combo, but poached egg on a crumpet sounds like a nice thing.
Yeah, I'd rather poke myself in the eye than have a poached egg, but I probably have. I could probably
similar consistency.
Yeah. And smells, but yeah. Well, that's because I don't like poached eggs, but I could eat scrambled eggs on crumpets. I think that'd work.
We're basically saying that a crumpet can be a substitute for bread or toast.
Yeah,
I think so.
For any reason.
Any reasons at all?
After speaking to Judith, my eyes have been opened about the huge possibilities of crumpets. I've just mainly had one or two toppings ever on a crumpet. I hadn't even considered other options. Flavored crumpets. Wow.
What about a bread? I'm thinking of a bread pudding made out of crumpets.
Yeah.
I think it would drink the milk.
Are you talking about bread and butter pudding, like bread and butter pudding?
Yes,
as I would call it.
Yes, right. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I saw someone on Instagram doing that.
Okay.
I'm not sure about the consistency of it because because it's a pancake batter essentially. It has a sort of slightly oily texture, doesn't it? Not in a bad way.
It's quite firm as well.
Yeah. So I'm not sure they would actually dissolve in quite the way you'd like for a bread.
I think you could be right. I think you're right.
But I think essentially it would work. Yeah.
Jacob says, I met someone in Australia once. Jacob on the Twitter, this was. I met someone in Australia once who hadn't seen crumpets before, which makes me think they're not in Australia, and then decided to butter them with the holes on the bottom. And then he was confused what all the hype was about. And this leads you to your favorite clip from this country, doesn't it, Lewis?
It certainly does. Do we have it?
I can insert it here. Here we go.
Yeah.
Mum, what? There's no holes in my crumpets.
There's no what?
There's no holes in my crumpets.
We'll turn it over.
Oh yeah, there they are.
Did you find your crumpet hole?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Oh, good. I am glad.
Ha 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 ha! That was funny.
That was yeah. Love this country. So yeah, Australians maybe haven't. How can it have been to New Zealand and not caught on in Australia? What's going on there?
You probably just led a sheltered life.
Yeah,
just haven't seen them.
Maybe they're very regional in Australia.
Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, we do talk a lot about Australia, don't we? We really need to get sponsored by Qantas or somewhere so we could do a live episode from Sydney. I mean, that would be
lovely.
Or Ramsay Street.
Or Ramsay Street. Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean, get on Amazon.
Pinoak Court, I believe it's called. Yep.
Oh, don't shatter my dreams. It's called Pinoak Court.
Okay, it's called Ramsay Street.
Yes, thank you.
Lastly,
it was nearly called Robinson Street, if you remember, and they had to had to play a game of cards to see whether the name changed. And Plain Jane Superbrain stood behind Mike, or one of them, with her sunglasses on, so that she could see the. Do you like the way I had to do my sunglasses? And so that they could see the cards reflected in the sunglasses.
That's true. Wow, great neighbours knowledge. This is exciting.
Very good. Look it up on YouTube.
It is. So that and this country to look up. And last question from Kerry on Twitter. It's Kerry with a C, Ceri. I believe it's pronounced Kerry, and my apologies, sir, if it is not.
Yeah.
Love crumpets, but what are the top 3 toppings? Marmite, golden syrup, marmalade, jam, cheese, lemon curd. These are all suggestions.
Oh, lemon curd. That'd be nice.
Yeah, I've had lemon curd for quite some time.
Oh, I like a bit of lemon curd.
Yeah, I do too.
I mean, any of those. I think this is what's so wonderful about the crumpet. You can put anything you like on it. It's a free country.
Yeah, it's been an eye-opener, this episode, for me.
Yeah. Incidentally, sorry, if you are having melted cheese on it, you've got to have a bit of ketchup on top of that melted cheese just to
No.
Oh, no, you do. You do.
Ketchup on a crumpet? Have you lost your tiny mind?
Melted cheese, ketchup on the top. Delicious.
What are you? An idiot sandwich.
Yeah, fair. That just seems
Oh,
nuts.
Judith will listen to this podcast. She'll be doing that. She'll be if she's not doing that in 3 months' time. If that's not on her website, you can call me an idiot sandwich. That's fine.
Okay, I will do. Gents, thank you very much. Anything else to say about Crumpets before we go?
No.
Silence.
No.
Don't forget that if you do enjoy the podcast, you can share it with your friends or family, and we make it child friendly so your children can listen to it if they can't sleep. We're here for them. Follow us on the socials, Chip Advisor Pod. Think it's a tag on both Instagram and Twitter. Okay, have a great week. Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Toodle
Bye.
pip.